Hey everyone, it is Susie, and I am going to do the tutorial on the Cafe Parisian paper bag album that I made some time back. I don't have the album to show you because I actually made it for a friend, but I was asked to do a tutorial, and I know it's been a long time coming. I've kind of had to put this tutorial off, but I'm going to get it started. It will probably be in 3 parts, so somewhere around there, 2 or 3 parts. So anyway, I did use the 8x8 pad, and I did use almost everything out of it, and I think with what I have left, I could possibly make a little paper bag junk journal out of. So I'm thinking I have enough little tags to do that out of this. So that's probably what I'll end up doing with the rest of that. I did use some pieces off the sticker sheet, and then my bags are the giant lunch bags. I just get them at Walmart, the great value. The size of the bags are 12 3/8 by 6 1/8 by 4 inch. So that is the size of the bag that I'm using. And this is actually the size of bag I use on every of the jumbo. When I say jumbo paper bags or giant paper bags, those are the paper bags that I'm talking about. So anyway, for the paper bag, I have simply straddled them, or staggered them, flap up, no flap, and flap up. Just 3 paper bags is all you're going to need. Then I just simply fold them in half. Now on this, I did do the stitching in the binding, and I did try to create that gusset. And how I did that to get center was, I simply took my ruler and drew with my pencil a line down my crease on center. Then I took my ruler and I just got the 1/4 of an inch, found my pencil line and centered it on the 1/8 of an inch, and then drew me a line for the line on each side of that 1/8 inch. That way I could actually try to make a pretty straight sewing line. I just penciled it in and then tried to get me a straight sewing line, and then I just erased the center one. That way I kind of had my 1/8 of an inch centered, an 1/8 on this side and 1/8 on this side, so it's a 1/4 of an inch gusset. So anyway, that is what I did on my paper bag, and it's just ready to go once you do that. So I'm going to start with the cover pieces. So on the cover pieces, I did find out when I made this one that I had actually bought the 12 by 12 sheet of the big tags, and because they were too big to use on the 6 by 6 paper bag album, I used it actually for the covers. So it was the polka dotted 12 by 12 sheet that the tags come on that I did in the covers, but since I did not have another one of these, I had to use the checkerboard one out of the collection. So anyway, that will be a variance from the one that I made originally. So anyway, the cover pieces for the back and the front cover are measured 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. You need 2 of them. Now during the video, at any time in any of the tutorial part, I keep these measurements on Post-it notes, because sometimes when you're talking you tend to think one thing and say another. So if I ever vary off, just go by what I have on the Post-it note. So this is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, 2 of them in the pattern paper. Then I used a really lightweight chipboard, and that's just to make the cover sturdier. And you'll need 2 of those at 5 5/8 by 5 5/8. You want these just a little bit bigger than your pattern paper. So that way I like a little bit of that craft edging to show on this chipboard. Alright, so 2 of those, 5 5/8 by 5 5/8. Then you're going to want a piece of lace if you're going to put that on your cover. And you want that lace to be no more than 6 inches. And the reason why is if you get it over 6 inches, it's going to drape off your bag. So be sure and just, however much lace you want, that you don't go over your 6 inches. All right. And then I haven't stitched on any of these, which is what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do that during the video. I'll kind of just have to come back. I'll do this and come back and get the pages set up that way. But this is your cover piece right here. This will be the little tag that I used. And the only thing I do is I take a piece of kraft cardstock, I lay my image on there, and then I simply cut around with my trimmer. I do not measure my kraft cardstock or my little tag. I simply just stick it on there and then cut around and just make that, try to look even all the way around. That's how I do it. I don't do a lot of measuring on that. I use the little pastry tag there. I used from the sticker sheet the Cafe Parisian, this piece right here. And then I used this little piece that's a border that comes off one of your 8x8 sheets there, one of the little tag sheets. And I just cut off the sweet part right there. I don't know if you can see that, but that piece right there. And then from the sticker sheet, I just simply use this, and this will go on the back of the cover. I always try to put something on the back cover, and this is what's going to go on there. And I will have this stitched around and stuff when I do that. Okay, so that's going to be your cover. And I guess I could go ahead and show you. Now, on the arrangement of your cover, this is kind of what it's going to look like. You're going to have your chipboard, and you're going to do this on the back too with just a chipboard. And this will be the back cover. This is kind of what it'll look like. And the front cover is going to be simply, I'll have it stitched around. This will lay in here. This goes here. This will adhere here. I have my lace that will actually come across here. And this is a little long. I will have to cut it. And then here is the suite. And this is actually how the layout is on the front cover. And I will get those all stitched around and get that on there. So that will be my front cover and my back cover. All right, then on the inside for your first page, you are going to want recipe cards. And all the recipe cards that I use, and I can't remember how many I have in this album. I'll have to just do them as I go along. They are 3 1/4 inch by 5 1/2, 3 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 long. I did use seam binding, and I did punch my corners with a decorative punch. I cannot find at Hobby Lobby the same recipe cards that I used in the original, so I'm using these for recipe cards. You'll use the little Cafe Parisian pastry menu cutout out of the album. You'll want an outside bag flap, and that is this part right here. Now, all your outside bag flaps that you're going to be using will measure a 4 by 5 3/4 inch. So I'm not going to keep repeating the measurements. This will just be the outside bag flap measurements, meaning it goes on the outside of that flap. Then you're going to have an inside, and all the insides are going to measure the same thing. You'll have the inside bag flap measurements, which are 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. And it is the inside, just like this. And actually, I don't push mine all the way down. I go more by here. This is where I want my look to be, because this is kind of stuck down and nobody's going to see that there's a little bit of a empty spot there. So this is outside flap, and this is what I'm calling inside flap. Okay, and once you have those measurements made, then this setup is simply going to be here. I do have one little of the jar, mason jar recipe cards, and I did stitch my little bit of lace on there. These are not very wide. They're about a 2 1/4 inch piece of lace. And once I get this ready to stick down, I will simply put my score tape only along this edge on this side, so that when I adhere it down, I can still get my jar tucked in there. Okay, then my 2 little recipe cards here will simply go here, and my flap I will have put score tape right here on this bottom only to give that where it won't slide out. Okay, so that will be my setup of my my first page on the inside. And again, your measurements are inside bag flap 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. Outside bag flaps will measure 4 by 5 3/4. Okay, and that will work on all your bag flaps. Recipe cards will all be 3 1/4 by 5 1/2 on the white. Okay, so that will be that page. Now for the second page, and all your pages, and by pages I mean the ones that have no flaps or anything like that, they will just measure 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. And it will sit on the page just like that. So all pages are 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. This is the piece that I'm using for this page. Your photo mats for those pages, for your mats for these just pages, are going to be 4 by 4. They will all measure that, 4 by 4. This is simply going to sit here, and then I will take this and I will pop this up on foam tape. And I want to be sure that my foam tape is not stuck to my photo mat, but that even if I have to cut some of it off to make it not as wide or whatever you want to call this, not as wide this way, then that's what I'll do, so that this will kind of stick up and not be on the photo mat. So if I go up here, or I'll probably just take it and not be on it. It'll look something like this. So that will be the setup for my second inside page. Alright, for the third inside page. Okay, it is just going to be a blank page and a blank page here. So, for this I have a pocket. Well, first we have the page. We're going to do this page right here. This is your 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, it's going to be 6 1/2. This is your pocket on your kraft cardstock. 6 1/2 by right at 2. So on your 6 1/2 inch side, we're going to score 1/2 inch each end. Okay? Okay guys, so I have the book put together on this one page, but I actually made an error in the measurements on this pocket right here. This kraft cardstock has to be 6 3/4 and then scored 1/2 inch on each end for it to come out. So anyway, I said 6 1/2 in the video, but I caught it as I was running it through the iMovie. So it does have to be your kraft on this pocket right here. Will have to be 6 3/4 and then scored 1/2 inch on each end. You know, just omit the 6 1/2 because you'll come out wrong. But anyway, I just wanted to get that in there real quick so that you didn't get the mistake and have your pocket too short. So anyway, I'll get on with the rest of the tutorial. So your kraft pocket itself, 6 1/2 going this way, by 2 going this way. And then on that 6 1/2 inch side, you want to score 1/2 inch, turn it, score 1/2 inch. That way it creates a little thing here where it's not raw. Alright? And then what it does is once you stick your page down, you're going to take your pocket and you're just going to take score tape and put it on your little folds and then on your bottom here. And you're going to stick it down like so. Okay, and then all I did was take this little menu off the sticker sheet and back it on some kraft cardstock, and it is actually just going to sit right there. Then I've got 2 more of my little jar cards, and I've put some lace on there, and they will actually just sit in the pocket, just like that. Okay? That's basically all I have done there. I did use the polka dot pattern paper for that. Alright, now we're going to go to this page here. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, so this page here, I have, of course, my 4x4. I have a 4" by 5 3/4 piece that's going to sit right here. I have an 1 3/4" by 5 3/4 piece, which is going to actually, I'll probably overlap that just a hair right there. You know, unless these are just even, that it will not show. I will overlap just a little bit. And then this cherry piece right here, I won't have this blue on it. But anyway, what I will do is take that off the sticker, and it will actually set, and I'll cut it off even with the, I just cut it a little longer than what I needed it, which is usually what I do, and then I cut it as I put it on. And it will set just kind of right here. And then I will have my 4x4. I will have my 4x4, which will go somewhere like this. I have a corner, I believe, that I had stuck up here. I will peel this off, and it will make my little corner. And it will stick right up here. And then my little pastury will probably come right over here. Okay, and that will be basically the setup of my next page. Alright, so I'm going to stop there, and I'll be back. I'm going to get these laid out and finished, and then I'll start on the next few pages.